the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
You disgust me.
Who gives a shit?
Go on.
I made it the fuck up. I'm it. I'm it. I'm it. I'm it. And it is glorious! And I run.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is your T-shirted historian, and welcome to Tuesday with Geeks. And what the hell is this with Supermarket Simulator being so popular all of a sudden?
There's a new simulator I don't have?
Supermarket Simulator. I'm seeing more and more people playing this.
People like to fantasize about being able to afford food.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, Ryan. I don't know. Supermarket Simulator. That's crazy. I'll have to check it out, see what the deal is with it. But yeah, I'm seeing more and more of my friends are playing it, and I'm just like, is this really this good or something? Seeing some other cool stuff on Steam that looks like it'd be fun too, like Tales of Iron and Goblin Stone, where you actually play goblins.
Slaves of Rome is out on Steam now.
Is it? Hey, Mercurius. Supermarket Rogue Trader Simulator. Yeah, you know, I've heard mixed things about Rogue Trader. I've heard it's good. I've heard it's bad. I did get to play a demo of something kind of cool today, though.
What's that?
I'm glad you asked. It is called Abathor, and it is basically what would happen if you married the old game Rostan from Taito with Golden Axe from Sega.
From the name, I was kind of hoping it was like Asgardian mythology, but in the 70s.
No.
No.
But I do have some gameplay footage, and the music is epic, man. It actually, to me, I think more of its DNA is more linked to Castlevania than anything else. But I'll let you judge. I'll turn the music down a little bit because I know it's pretty bombastic. But
Raw.
yeah, but it also looks really cool. Actually, where the hell did I put it all? Oh, here it is.
See, the game that's got my attention probably for the next few days is Red Alert 2, because that's back on Steam. And oh,
Yeah, that familiar Conan soundtrack sound. It's not out yet. It's only on demo. The final game might have an intro scroll, but this one didn't. But yeah, you got 4 different characters you can pick from. I haven't played all 4. I've only played the first 2, just to see what they're like. Yeah, but see, the character's very much like Rostan.
so far I really like the sprite work.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's a lot of 8-bit and a lot of 16-bit kind of vibes.
Kind of reminds me of like I think Commodore 64 Conan.
A little bit. You don't remember Rostan? But this soundtrack is like straight out of Castlevania almost. Wasn't used to the controls yet.
What a horrible night for a curse.
Yeah. It's kind of got your kind of typical 2D monster types. If I were about 40 years younger, I'd really be good at this.
Needs a bling noise when you pick up treasure, though.
The ding.
Yeah.
See, it's just not there.
No, yeah, it's not. But it does have quite a variety of enemy types. And it does actually have, like, merchant systems in it. Yeah, this was second stage, but, yeah, this is the merchant demon. So you can actually purchase power-ups and stuff in-game.
What are you buying?
No, L, it's kind of its own thing. I honestly think it's more like Rostan and Golden Axe. And it is multiplayer. Like I said, that was my first playthrough on that. But I do have a second playthrough I actually did with the Valkyrie character, who's not as good. And I actually met the first boss. It was Cthulhu!
Hey, man, I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
Yep. I was actually surprised at how much better she played. She just seems a lot faster overall than the big barbarian guy. It only has 3 playable stages to it, but still pretty cool.
What was the price for this?
It's not out yet, so it's still... This is a demo only right now.
For Tang is Monty Python. It's for Tan for really.
He turns into a shower of money.
You made it rain.
Yep. It doesn't have save
make
points.
a noise when you pick the money up that time.
Oh yeah. The game doesn't have save points, but it does have areas in the game that you can hit, and it'll, like, if you have to restart, it'll let you restart at that area instead of all the way at the beginning. And I did run into one more boss, but I never got to finish because this happened instead. Yeah, that's the second boss.
Dr. Doom.
Like a serpenty Dr. Doom.
Next time, Gadget.
I was whooping his ass too, after I figured out his move, but now... And that's all you get.
They teased you.
They did.
Yeah.
They gave me just enough to want to buy it. But I like this kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it looks like a good little kind of throwback to some little classic side-scrolling Super Nintendo era stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be fun when it when they finish it out, when it finally does come. But yeah, that's Abathor. It's up. The demo's up on Steam. The game's not available yet, but supposedly it is multiplayer. I don't know if it's 2 to 4 player. I think it may actually be 4 player, but that'd be kind of crazy. I guess it splits screen after a certain. Or I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do.
Something.
Yeah. But retro stuff is cool, man.
Well, I mean, there is some videos, there is some little GIFs on the Steam page that show what the multiplayer is like.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and you're all just on the same screen together.
Okay. I don't know though, but I mean, if the multiplayer is like everybody has to be in the same room, or if it's online compatible, kind of thing. Because some of those games they say, yeah, they're multiplayer, but it's kind of like it's only multiplayer if you have multiple, joypads hooked up and you're all playing off the same computer.
And I suppose that's gonna be the challenge, but we'll have to see long term what that'll hold for this game.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably going to be one of those $15.99 games or something. Doesn't look like it's horribly expensive.
I'd be comfortable
team.
with that.
Yeah. Hey, Penny. And Surly, it's nice to see you too. Yeah, you spent a bunch of time on the Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. I messed with it a little bit yesterday, just to see what it was like. It's definitely like waifu creator material. And people are talking about, oh no, it's woke. I'm just kind of like, I don't know about that. I mean, you can bump the booty and the titty sliders up pretty good. Blasphemy? You mean Blasphemous? Blasphemous was a pretty cheap game too, and that was super fun. Yeah. I need to get through Blasphemous too, but I don't know if I'll get to it this week or not. Too many other things. I still have not seen this yet. I need to. I probably will try to catch up on it this week, but I thought this was kind of funny because this came across my feed today.
No.
Did you actually bother reading this article though?
I didn't bother to read the article, to be quite honest, but
I did.
You did? What did you see?
It's the same old historical revisionism. Everybody was black nonsense. It's white supremacism for black people.
He was samurai and shit.
Yeah, I mean there was that one black samurai, but
Yasuke.
Yeah,
my understanding is that he would have been long since dead by the time in which this series is set. So he was around in the Sengoku period. The Edo period is when this happens, and that's right after this. But yeah, I mean, it's like he was the only black samurai we know of, and that was just kind of like a special position that was given to him.
Yeah. So the gossamer thin thread of justification that he has is that this one particular shogun in the past, not even in this historical period, was described as having darker skin, but that's apparently because he was half Ainu and not pure Japanese. And that's literally it. That's a different kind of Asian. It's not. God, I'm so tired.
I mean, there were black people in Japan, but they were brought over as slaves and followers of the Jesuits, who were in Japan at the time. In fact, that's how Yasuke was introduced to the Japanese. He was a follower of a Jesuit missionary. So,
could there be a deeper meaning to that phrase about the black blood? Because that seems like that there should be something more to that than what the people here are just reading it at the surface level.
Obviously,
It's meaning. It's nothing to do with actually being of black ancestry or anything. It's to do with Japanese mythology and color theory and things.
Oh, okay.
Kudo, which is the word black. Yeah, that harkens back to that article I saw, where it said, like the black people actually invented all this Eastern mysticism and stuff like that, and had just forgotten all of it, and I'm just kind of like,
yeah.
However, it is true though that the Japanese apparently do have some sort of more common ancestry with black folks than they do with like Caucasians, for example. Although there was that group of Caucasian people who lived up north on Hokkaido that were called the Ainu, but they were a separate indigenous species that were, they were a separate indigenous people who were more or less driven almost to extinction by the Japanese.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's also true. Black companies. And in fact, that's another term too. They call, people who work in professions that are not necessarily really savory, like, grave workers, mortuary attendants, butchers, things like that. They call them burakmen or blackmen. Those people actually have a lot of power in Japan, though. Believe it or not, because at one point it was actually Fist of the North Star that referenced an attack that was a butchering kick, and the way it was spelled or something like that could have been construed as offensive to the Burakmen. So it was subtly changed in the anime.
So,
kind of like blue collar, white collar kind of thing. Yeah, he's right.
So I got a little news story here, and if you guys want to check this out here,
sure.
This is apparently just being announced about an hour ago.
Oh, the Lion Wing?
Yes.
From Sega?
So this is a little bit of breaking tabletop news.
Well, it's Atlas, so Shin Megami Tensei. Okay, so it's Persona-based tabletop role playing?
Yes.
Okay, now this is cool. Now, how soon is that going to be available over here?
It is currently available for pre-order.
Ooh, you got a website?
I dropped it. I think I dropped that in the private chat for you.
All right. Let me pop that over into the main for everybody else so they can enjoy it too. We're going to have to make sure Grim buys this one so we can test it. We're always saying that.
I feel like that's the second time today you've suggested a book that he needs to purchase.
Well, he's the one who's committed to, playtesting all these unplayed games, so I figured, let's just pile some
making me buy new ones.
No, we've got to keep you, working.
Fed.
So on the website they have two covers available, as well as you have the ability to in the US anyway. You order from their Lion Wing shop, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon. So I don't know what that would mean for you, Grim, or anyone else out there who's outside of the US, but yeah, there's versions of books available. Let me pull up these two covers here just so I can kind of show you the little, so that way you can at least see like the difference.
Yeah. Okay. got to review one game a week for Video Grim. Actually, I don't know. Grim's been doing like almost dropping a video almost every single day, so
yeah,
he's pretty busy.
Just got, Brian's Greenhaven, if he's still in the chat.
I've got that on the way. I'm excited to see it. I mean, I've got the PDF, of course, but it's a little different when you have the print. Ooh, that looks pretty cool.
This is this is the Nocturne variant. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is the where I have all too many tabs open. The Death variant.
Oh yeah, I definitely like that one better. I mean, the cover's more busy, but it just looks cooler.
Yeah, red covers look better anyway.
Yeah, they do.
But let me pull up the actual page itself here, so we see what we can actually see. So we can actually see what comes with this.
Okay.
This is
$60. That's a hardcover and PDF, so that's about standard.
All orders include a free PDF copy of the White Vortex mini campaign, which is exclusive to the Line Wing shop. The Line Wing edition will not be available after the pre-order window closes, and the Line Wing edition of the book has black painted page edges on an exclusive cover.
I like that.
The bundle includes the rulebook, the PDF, and the mini campaign. DPS accessible TTRPG for 3 to 5 players.
It's got some YouTube actual plays.
They also have a video up on their YouTube channel for how to play this.
Yeah,
for a Let's Play.
Mm-hmm. I have to check it out sometime.
Affinity system, punishing status ailments like poison and stun, while also introducing more typical TTRPG mechanics such as critical hits, fumbles, and exploding dice.
Do they have any idea when this is coming out?
Q3.
So probably sometime in around May.
Well, no, we're probably talking September, October.
That late?
Q3.
Third quarters.
I always thought Q4 was like September, October, November, December. Krim is dead and gone. We can do a Kickstarter to turn his flat into an RPG museum. Yeah.
I have a house, thank you, but we have officially run out of shelf space. So, yeah, tricky.
So, you got a chance to play their other one, Convictor Drive, Grim. What did you think of that? Because that was a game I sadly missed a chance to join in.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very prescriptive, which I keep saying in reviews lately, in that it has a very set way to play. Like, the game is divided into acts, and you have missions, and to get to the end sort of confrontation where you actually activate your suits and everything, you have to work your way through these other things and unlocking aspects of the missions. So, but that's true of a lot of Japanese games. And I think it's more forgivable than Japanese games. And also, this is trying to replicate the feel of the shows. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Tokusatsu, or I can't remember what the word. Tokusatsu shows. So I think it's kind of forgivable there, but I don't like that in a lot of games.
Oh,
and I think it would wear on me after a while if I was to try and run a campaign or something. But I mean,
people are pretty dedicated.
It's competent.
It sounds like it would be well suited for like a convention play.
Yeah, or a fill-in game when someone doesn't show up or whatever. Yeah, it would be good for that sort of thing.
Oh, I tried something new yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't keep the bottles, but as bottles go, they didn't look all that special anyway. But Coca-Cola has a new product out. Spiced Coca-Cola.
Okay, see, when I saw that, I thought that was alcoholic.
No.
Because my thought was spiced rum.
No. It's kind of raspberry. It's mostly like raspberry-ish, but it does have like a cinnamony kind of punch to it. It's not bad. I'd buy it again, which is kind of rare because a lot of the new Coca-Cola flavors that they're coming out with are usually miss. But Yeah, it's just called spiced Coca-Cola, and it's in a red bottle, so it's really easy to mistake for just regular Coke. You have to look for the little raspberry on the label. But it's not bad if you get if you get a chance to try it. So.
May have to do that.
Yeah.
What's Savo saying there?
Grimm has described Japanese games as prescriptive. Is there a stereotype for French games, Italian ones?
So it's not just a Japanese thing to be prescriptive. A lot of Western games, especially story games, have become very prescriptive as well. As regards different European countries, I don't think the rules are different, but there is definitely a very different way to play. The French are very into canon and the background, in my experience. Germans are stereotypically a lot more rules oriented, but that seems to hold true.
So natural war gamers.
Yeah,
they're always practicing.
In Soviet Russia, game plays you. I got some news today that I was really excited about when I got it, and it is another game-related piece. But you Street Fighter 6 fans, if you're probably going to be as excited about this as I was.
I heard about this today.
Yep. It's honestly the only reason I bought the game.
And once you get through with this, you can immediately uninstall it.
That's pretty much true.
Hundreds of opponents, all felled by his hand.
Gotta admit, he looks badass as hell in this.
Thousands of strikes exchanged. They forged his spirit. Every moment engraved into his very being. Fists with ambitions so great, they seek to soar beyond the very heavens. Nissuts!
I'm sorry, but that's my dude.
Although that's got me wondering, Grim, do you have a copy of the Street Fighter RPG?
I have a pilfered version on PDF.
I have the original.
I don't have a hard copy of it.
I have the originals sitting over here on the shelf, Ironcaster. The original one from White Wolf? Yeah.
Yes.
But it never included Akuma.
They had not in any expansion stuff? Or did that just come out, or was that all done before Akuma became a character?
It all came out pretty much kind of well, let's see. It actually came out like during Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So it was kind of before Akuma, but Akuma came out in Turbo Super Street Fighter 2. So theoretically, I mean, he could have appeared in it, but I don't know why they never did. I don't know. That game always seemed like it was more concerned with, putting up their own creations instead of like the actual people everybody wanted to see, which was, Ryu, Ken, and Blanca, and all those characters. I mean, I don't think they even had Fei Long stats in there, although I'm pretty sure Cammy was in there.
I have to wonder if that isn't because of like intellectual property rights. They wanted to try to have a couple of characters they could maintain and own.
I don't know. I mean, they didn't have the license for very long. It didn't seem like.
It didn't sell very well, I don't think.
No. White Wolf was trying to storyteller everything at that point. But yeah, for better or for worse, I've got every book that they made for it sitting over on the shelf because I was, a big Street Fighter nut back then even, so of course I had to have it.
So when are we going to run that t-shirt? When are we going to play
God, you really want to play that?
It's not that playable, to be honest.
It kind of isn't. Just for fun, I did something crazy because I still had a copy of GURPS Werewolf and GURPS Vampire, and I did try to translate the Street Fighter characters into GURPS using that system. It didn't quite work so well, but if you had GURPS superheroes anyway, you pretty much could have those characters. So.
Yeah.
I really shouldn't be surprised if there was a GURPS Vampire.
Yeah, there was.
GURPS everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've still got my copy somewhere. That and GURPS Werewolf. I don't remember if they came out with any other GURPS properties for White Wolf, but it was money. Oh wow. Run Masters of the Universe TRPG from the 80s for Ironcaster.
I have read it way back. I don't think it's actually a complete game that's playable. And from what I remember, it was a bit more like a board game.
Speaking of which, they do have a Masters of the Universe board game with lots of miniatures and stuff from CMON that are out. They're constantly throwing it at me. I'm constantly saying no.
There's about one or two other RPGs I want to go and get a copy of, like on the eBay, but it's kind of like a little curiosity. It's like it came from the late show. Just
That's an oldie.
The premise of it's got my curiosity now. Mind you, I didn't really start delving into a lot of the TTRPG stuff until like the mid 2000s. So, like, New World of Darkness was the hot new craze at the time. Grim just looked like he was ready to slap me through the screen.
Yeah.
He turns his head like, what'd you say?
I don't think my Street Fighter stuff is worth that much.
Well, I don't know. There was a brief period when you could sell it for quite a lot of money on eBay. I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's still the case.
I think my original cult books would probably go for a hell of a lot more.
I think for the Street Fighter books for those to sell well, you might have to wait for a movie to really kick off.
Or something. I don't know.
You just got to kind of watch what's going on in sort of the bigger pop culture.
That's as with all licensed things.
Yeah, I think the thing is, to replicate a fighter game in the tabletop, you really have to just concentrate on the fights and come up with a really robust, good system for doing that. And that's tricky.
Yeah,
and it doesn't leave you much for the rest of the game.
I am looking at Lone Wolf Fists. I need to get the actual book now that they have a hardback book of it. But man, that thing is expensive because it's a huge ass book. Because the PDF is just ginormous, and it's very unwieldy to try to use if you're trying to run it. So it's kind of like one of those, you got to have a physical book.
Is that the one that's based from the same? No, it's not the same one. Okay. I thought it was the one that was based from Weapons of the Gods, but it's not.
Let me see if I can find it.
I was sent a PDF of that to review, which I never got around to, and now I feel bad.
Yeah, I'm on the guy's Discord, but I don't interact very much, and I do follow him, and he follows me on Twitter.
Yeah.
I originally got interested in it because I thought, ooh, this sounds a lot like Fist of the North Star. That's odd. I have the quick start.
I think to replicate Fist of the North Star, you'd have to use something like Aberrant.
Or Godbound.
Superhero system, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Godbound.
I've already taken my drink.
Oh, yeah. We did discuss Crawford in the earlier show, too. A little bit.
Yeah.
I have ideas. Yeah, I'll find it another time, I think. My gosh. I guess the big news is that, Grimm introduced it to us at the beginning of the show, but Daggerheart apparently dropped.
Yeah, the playtest is out.
I'm actually curious about Fallout. I will give it a try because I genuinely hope it's good because it's a series. Borderlands, man, I think the cast is totally miscast for that, but we'll see.
Well, the big concern I think there is to have with the Fallout series is that they've come out and explicitly told us it's not for fans of the series.
Well, I mean, how hard could it be? I mean, it's like, person comes out of vault, finds nuclear wasteland. You have some character, some iconic critters in it, like, death claws and ghouls and rad roaches and shit like that. And it's like, it would be simple to do, right? I mean, how could they possibly fuck that up?
They'll find a way. Life finds a way. I don't know. I liked the look of the Fallout trailer. Borderlands, yeah, I don't know. I'll probably still want to watch it because Jamie Lee Curtis.
Now, I am in the same boat largely. Like Fallout, it's got a lot of the right feel, the right sort of imagery. I think we're gonna find out that our the freaking sorry, brain fart. The Red Skull there is going to wind up being the guy from the start of the trailer who's introducing you to the vaults.
Oh, Walt Goggins? Yeah. Just, I mean, the fact that he's in it, I'm hoping makes it good because I like him as an actor. I think he's great. I thought what was pretty funny about him is the fact that in Justified, his character originally was written as just kind of like a hick. And he said, no, man, come on, let me punch this character up a little bit. So he changed all the dialogue and everything to make him very erudite. And it totally 180'd the character, so he became much more interesting. And they kept him around.
This is I'm going to drop this in the private chat for you guys to read later if you want.
Okay.
But Collider has a little bit of a longer article, kind of going over a little bit of the show.
As I was saying, Grimm dropped this one on us tonight, and I figured we could take a look at it, at least kind of on the show a little bit. This is the Daggerheart open beta playtest. It's not a downloadable PDF, so you have to make an account in order to get into this.
Which I've gone ahead and done.
Yeah, which I've obviously gone ahead and done, and it's got the usual,
I don't think you have to have an account to view it, actually. I think you can look at it without, but if you want updates and stuff, then they want you to have an account.
A lot of this, that, and the other, a lot of background.
So, yeah, safety tools. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Session 0. No. Let's get to the shit people really want. Character creation. So, classes. We have what? Bards, druids.
So,
Guardians.
as in Candela Obscura, they've got main classes and then 2 subclasses under each class.
Call of the Slayer, Call of the Brave, School of Knowledge, School of War. And they've got Heritage instead of... So, Ancestry. Clank. Sentient mechanical being built from metal, wood, stone, or clay. Oh, look,
I'm going to play Bender.
You're going to play a goblin, you know it. Look that's a short stack for you. And look at the titties on it.
I'd play a robot floozy because that way you could be both Ratchet and Clank.
Wow. Here's a character that we don't even have yet.
Well, you see, it based on the name of Simia, I'm going to assume it would have been something out of Spelljammer.
I'm going to assume it's probably something monkey-ish.
They returned to monkey.
Well, if you think about it, they're probably trying to find a way to bring that in without insulting everybody. Ooh, turtle dude.
It's the dark crystal vultures.
Kinda.
Skeksis.
Dracona. Oh yeah. Hey, look, we can get Greg in here now. Fairy. God, those look terrible. With insect-like feet. Ew, fuck off with that. No.
We'll make Ginger play that.
You got to cover everyone's kink.
I guess. There's giants, so that's kind of cool.
Wait, do we have centaurs?
You got fawns, which are kind of close.
No, we might be able to get guard.
Yeah, maybe we can get guard bro with that, yeah.
All about that pussy.
Oh, here we go. Daemons for all the tiefling lovers. They have communities: highborn, slyborn, ridgeborn, underborn, wanderborn, wildborn. Wow. Sensing a theme here.
So you have your race and then where you're from, basically.
And then traits, hit point, stress, hope and fear, starting gears.
It's a lot they've really put in for the role play of it.
And there's cards in it.
Building blaster class. Oh, okay, because I think the cards are, I believe, from the way they were building up the character sheets, where it's like little like cardboard cards you can put down in place of like hit points and stress, your active weapon, etc.
Oh, look, the character sheet has a handy pronoun spot on it.
Yeah, you can go program it in with the little app. There's even a little spot for stress.
Yeah, it's all we need is stress in our game.
Which it is important to kind of have a discussion around these things, but I do wonder if we don't almost do it more than if there isn't a more overemphasis on the issues around stress, then perhaps it's being overly looked at times.
Playing an adventure. Yeah,
to me, there doesn't look like there's much in the way of deep character customization, and as such, there isn't that much to clearly differentiate characters from one another, which is the same problem with these Powered by the Apocalypse systems and Blades in the Dark systems. I mean, it looks like they've opened up the scaling a bit, but it looks like everything comes down to your special powers and your base stats. So there doesn't really seem to be skills that I could see. I've only managed to flick through it quickly, but yeah.
That probably means that there's going to be a meta. And of course, there'll be people putting out stuff like, how to get your perfect build for this, that, or the other.
I don't know that you'll be able to, particularly because there isn't that deep customization. So
that won't stop the YouTubers from trying to make the videos to cash in on it.
Well, yeah.
Or the articles online.
How to optimize your fawn.
Exactly.
40 ways to F your fawn.
What'd you say?
Oh.
Hallowed axe. Improved battle axes. Huh. A lot of weapons.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it's not especially inspiring.
I do notice that weapons come in tier variants at different levels, and that kind of smacks of
Aiding?
No, Starfinder. Because Starfinder had weapons that were gated by level, and that was kind of to keep the hand-to-hand users and stuff like that viable into up higher levels, because the sizes of their weapons and the power of them got better.
I think there's a good idea in that as you level, weapons could scale, particularly for fighter classes. Would be a good way to do that. I don't think gating different weapons by level was the right way to go.
Yeah, because the magic stuff gets it too. So
yeah.
So your mages are still going to be able to have, weapons that go up in power as well, but they're still going to have access to all their spells, which is what makes them, overshadow the fighting classes at higher levels.
How many attributes do you think are required to adequately describe a player character? It depends, but you should be able to differentiate between different types of character. So, like, strong character should be able to play different to fast character, though they could be as effective as each other in different ways. And you should be able to reflect a character being skilled in one area and not skilled in another. Like, okay, maybe you're strong, but maybe you're shit at fist fighting, but good at construction or climbing or general athletics or something.
I think 8 attributes actually fit everything for me. Just because it splits up two of your stats that are overused in the standard 6 set. Because you got strength, which is pretty, normal. You got con, which is good for what it is. You got int and wisdom, which break each other up pretty well. But then you have the 2 stats that are overused. You have dex, which is way too powerful in and of itself, because dexterity counts towards your defense, it counts towards your saves, it counts towards your skills, and it can count towards your ability to hit with weapons, and in some places can take the place of weapon damages in some games. So I believe dex needs to be split into 2 completely different stats, one of which reflects manual dexterity, and the other one which reflects physical dexterity, like the ability to move out of the way. And the charisma stat is also a misnomer, and it's always been misused because some people have used it too much for physical appearance, and some people have judged it too much on your force of personality, whereas I think you can split charisma into 2 different stats, like charisma and comeliness, and therefore you have physical looks, which can affect interactions, and your force of personality, which also affects interactions in a different way. So, if you ask me, Savo, I'm going to tell you need at least 8 stats. At least. But,
and I like stat skill combination because that gives you a lot of variety and options to develop. So.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's too early to tell on that one, though. I guess it would help if they had like more critters to look at and things like that. But
well, I think we'll start seeing some results of it coming out over the next week or so, because now the playtest is out, we'll be able to start seeing some general feedback.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't want my feedback. But they're getting it good and hard.
You like courage as a statistic? Well, I mean, yeah.
Did you guys happen to see the section of it with where they talk about death?
No, I missed it.
Okay, I have this up right here because
if you have it up,
my 500 tabs I apparently have available.
When your character is about to die, you must choose one of the following 3 options. Blaze of Glory. This grants you an automatic critical success. Lose hope to heal. You can lose 1 hope slot, which your character can no longer use in the future to stay alive and regain, presumably 1 hit point. for instance, your character's maximum amount of hope. It can have at any one time might reduce from 5 to 4, or roll hope and fear dice. This determines if you live or die. If you the hope, I'm reading it as is written. If you the hope dice is higher, you live, comma, and if it is lower, comma, you die. That is, wow. That's, yeah.
You know, at least with Lion Wing, like there's the excuse of these are Japanese games that are being translated into English, whereas this is written primarily in the language
by English speaking people. Yeah. It is unknown what happens if they are equal. What? What?
It is unknown how many hit points you would have left.
If you the hope dice is higher, you live. If it is lower, you die. It is unknown what happens if they are equal. Well, gee, that just we haven't figured that out yet. What the?
Or does it just mean it's unknown what happens to you? Like you disappear and then they can turn up later with a mask as one of the baddies.
Yeah.
We couldn't get playtesters yet.
Yeah. Is your soul suspended between life and death and you just become a husk? I don't know.
Look, I think you're being too harsh. Clearly the diversity hard dyslexic did this part.
Oh.
So you have to make allowances.
Excuse me, Grim. That's
God damn!
Also,
Yes.
I also want to point out, this is the very bottom of the page. So this section about healing and recovery, there's nothing.
You don't,
guys. I'm kind of bleeding out here. Can we do something about this?
No, we don't know what happens. We don't know what happens if you heal or recover.
Oh, but don't worry. We made sure to fill you all in about stress. That's more important than a stab wound.
Well, I mean, they don't even have a spell table or anything yet, but they have mages. So they have a full example of play available to you, but they don't actually tell you, how to play this, really, because there's no rules for running combats. What?
Casting spells. Other actions you could take on your turn.
You could cast a spell. Yes, you could. You can. We don't know how. There aren't no spells listed, but you can. Do you just make shit up and throw it at your GM? I cast save everybody.
Okay. I want to point out to everyone in the chat. The website is, I'm currently on daggerheart.org/rules.
Yeah. Patties, we're talking about the new Daggerheart game. The playtest just dropped. So and apparently it's an unplayable playtest.
How do we sneak?
We don't know. We don't have rules for that yet.
What about experiences?
I don't know. We have a section on leveling up, but we don't have a section on getting experience. What the hell?
And at least they've thought about how to use 2D12.
Who is behind Daggerheart? I mean, who? Critical Role?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Darrington Press, etc.
How do we level up?
Yeah.
How do we travel?
We don't know. It does say that resting, a party of characters can take a short rest or a long rest while adventuring, but it doesn't say what the benefits of a short or long rest are. So,
what world?
Yeah, we haven't written that yet. Your character can have one of 15 levels of wealth. What these? Oh, okay, the first 5 levels are called handfuls. The next 4 levels are called bags. The next 3 levels are called chests. The next 2 levels are called hoards. If you have the last level of wealth, you have a 4. That is overly complicated? Does this mean that wealth is going to be kind of like a commodity type thing where we don't actually know how much wealth is wealth, kind of like in Godbound?
Probably.
Because in Godbound's case, like if you're a god of wealth, it's kind of like, what do you want to spend your wealth on? Oh, what can I buy? Well, you're the god of wealth, so pretty much name it.
Although I think we probably might be able to actually figure out the maximum velocity of an unladen swallow.
I mean,
Wizards,
wow.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, you can't play them yet anyway because you don't have spells for them. But you can't play fighters either. But you can play warriors.
There will be 27 ancestries upon release.
Yeah, but there's one that we don't know about yet because we can't figure out a way to do it to where it won't offend everybody because monkey people is racist, I guess. I don't know.
We have spells. We have spells. 7.
Pick and pull.
The midnight ability.
That's okay. Can you click on it or
no?
Oh, so we know what we're gonna call them. We just haven't written them down yet. Okay.
We know a scepter deals 1d8 damage. Apparently,
we saw some stats on weapons, so that kind of exists. But do I always hit? Yeah. I thought that was Colville's game, which won't be available for like another 2 years.
Well, I don't think you automatically hit in this. So the rolls, you roll 2d12s of different color. One's your hope, one's your fear. You're trying to beat a difficulty. If you succeed with the fear dice, you succeed with some kind of negative complication. If you succeed with the hope dice, you just succeed. If you roll the two the same, that's a critical success.
Savo, this is like someone programmed the very first website like yesterday. Like it's not a whole lot here. Oh wait, no, we actually have links to some articles.
So they have some kind of a play test going where they at least have character sheets and stuff,
and it's like all of these are the exact. Oh, it's all of them images from the same like comicbook.com like article about this. References new. Oh, don't worry, guys. We got the news covered. We got that working on the website.
Yeah, all the YouTube videos are up. So,
how many of them have Matt Mercer like looking magnificent on the thumbnail? That's what we'll go with. That's our barometer.
I mean, I think this was just kind of like a way for them to throw something out there and say, "Hey guys, remember us? Don't forget about us. We're doing our thing too." I mean, we know Candela Obscura didn't hit everybody's mark, so here's this. It's coming.
And just to point out, like the actual playtest, there's 18 races, 9 communities, and 9 classes available.
Yeah,
but we can't get a website running.
Any of them with blanket monsters? No. But there's a stand-in for just about every popular D&D race that you really like.
Oh, we'll make sure to give you a little Matt Mercer vest monster. It's a vest mimic.
Oh jeez. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll just kind of have to take a wait and see attitude on it, and wait and see what happens, what develops from it. I mean,
look, at the end of the day, if they can get it to work, if they can do something good here, then like I'm all for it, because like anything that's going to pull people away from Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons that can help kind of spread out the tabletop scene a bit more, so we don't have everyone quite so bunched up under the same 1 or 2 tentpole games. I think that would probably be good long term for the hobby.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know that giving money to Critical Role is any less of a case of giving money to people who hate you, but I don't know. I mean,
I think for myself, I'm going to be going for that Shin Megami Tensei and some more Renegade Game Studio stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fair. I'm interested in that myself.
I mean, it does sort of have the side effect of it is a Hasbro license, so there is sort of it's adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather help out a little smaller publisher. So look, I got to pick my battles.
Well, I already helped one out, so you know I'm covered. And I'm pretty sure this was made by somebody who doesn't hate me. Because I mean, if they like Victor, then they could probably get along with me. So, and I like it so far. I don't know that it's necessarily going to revolutionize tabletop or anything, but I like the way it's put together so far, and it's got some great ideas, and it's not badly written. So it's got a lot going for it. I mean, at least they have a complete game.
Well, it also has the added benefit of having really how it was $2 million, I think.
Like $1.5 million or something.
It got enough of a groundswell under it that it's doing kind of exactly what I was talking about. It's helping pull attention into another little corner.
Yeah, it's pulling people away from WotC, and that's always a good thing. That's what we need to happen. Just getting word out that there are alternatives, and not everything has to be, let's make this into a 5th edition game or that into a 5th edition game. How about just make a completely different game from 5th edition? I mean, I've seen a lot of that lately. There is a lot of, and I'm guilty of buying into these things too, but there's a lot of games out there that are basically trying to take 5th edition and turn it into something else. There's Gene Punk. There's Gene Funk that did it. There's Carbon that did it. There is what else was another 5e product I've got? Low Life 2050 that did it as well. So there's a lot of games that are taking the 5th edition engine and they're just kind of like, transmogrifying it into something else, but it's still kind of a case of, well, you still got to have 5e to make it work. So it's always nice to have a game that completely has no ties to that. And I like supporting these smaller companies anyway. I mean, I didn't have to pay anything to get White Box from Basic Expert, but I went ahead and I tipped him $5 anyway for his work. And it's a decent book. And of course, we all know how much I love all of Crawford's stuff.
Yes.
And Grimm is always running something new every week to show off, different stuff that isn't 5e. Some of it's better than others. It'd be kind of nice to get a feel for some of these games by playing like more than one session, but it is what it is.
Yes.
Although I kind of wonder if you somehow manage to get through your backlog of unplayed games, will you finally pick one to run long term?
I will then probably start running short campaigns of like 6 sessions or something.
Awesome. Okay, so how many more games do we have to go through before you do that?
Quite a lot.
Shit.
But I have played quite a lot as well. So
I don't know. Maybe you should like hand me half your stack and we could just like alternate. But I don't
share.
I don't run. Actually, I don't learn rules quite that quickly, so it would be hard for me to do that every other week.
I'm finding that the process of writing cheat sheets for the players helps me learn the rules relatively quickly.
So when can we expect to run the Monty Python role playing game?
I did back that. God knows when it's actually going to be out.
Is there anything about 5e that is exceptionally good, rather objectively good? I do like Advantage Disadvantage because that did away with a lot of the massive heavy duty pluses and minuses that were picked up in 3.0, 3.5, and Pathfinder. You know, instead of just saying, okay, well, you got plus 15 and all this stuff, now you can just say, oh, I'll just roll advantage, disadvantage. So that's good.
Well, I think one of the other things to also point out, and for the success of it, is just, well, the success of it. I mean, it has gone on to become the single most successful edition of the game that's come along. And credit where credit's due there. Like, it managed to bring back D&D as popular in terms of popularity after 4th edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is not easy.
No, because 4th edition was a definite misstep. But it didn't help that Pathfinder 2nd edition just ended up alienating all of us who really liked 1st edition. Because that was like the very first thing I found out whenever I picked up my Pathfinder 2nd edition book. I was, I told all the guys at the table, like, well, 2nd edition's coming out. Maybe it'll streamline and make everything better in 1st edition. It's like, no, it didn't. It just basically told you, hey, guess what? All your 1st edition stuff is worthless now. Go throw it away and buy all of our 2nd edition stuff.
Yeah.
So I felt the exact same as I did when White Wolf decided NWAD was the new thing.
Which was mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Like Vampire the Requiem. Oh, look. These clans only have superficial resemblance to the ones you remember.
Yes. And vampires all hate each other and lose control around each other. So good luck actually keeping a group together.
Jeez. I have people who still tell me that they love that game. So I'm just like, okay, well, can I say? It takes all kinds, I guess. And if it's the first game you learned, there's a chance that that's probably why you like it. I confess, I still have a real fondness for BX because it was the first game I learned. So, what was the first one you learned, Ironcaster? I'm just out of curiosity.
Well, the first one I started with was 3.5.
Really?
Yeah, it was like just before 4th edition came out. Like Pathfinder hadn't quite kicked off yet. So we're talking like 2007. Mm-hmm. This was actually like the summer I graduated high school.
Sabo, you don't know what BX is? BX is Basic and Expert, which were written by Tom Moldvay back in 1981, I believe, 1980. It was just like a red book and a blue book with covers by Errol Otis and interior illustrations by like DSL and Bill Willingham mostly. But it took a very basic look at the game by having race as class and still having a lot of the deadliness and stuff for AD&D and everything else, but not necessarily all the complications, because I actually think BX predated AD&D. Because if my understanding is correct, what was it? Not the first edition of Basic that came out was written by Holmes, and that was just kind of like the stopgap that Gygax put out because he was feuding with Arneson over the rights for D&D. And correct me if I'm wrong on that. So at that point, Gygax was trying to put out a boxed set. And that's what Basic became and Expert became. But even at that point, he was kind of like, this isn't really what I wanted. So we're going to need to take another step. And that's when he started in on AD&D. And so AD&D actually came after BX.
Yeah, so the Holmes Basic was 1977. The Moldvay Basic was 1981.
Yeah.
Mensa Basic was 1983. And then we had those kind of 1991, 1994 versions.
Yeah.
I thought part of it was also because they Armazon, there was like certain editions Armazon wasn't credited with, so he wouldn't get any sort of royalties from. So there was a sort of rights issue.
Yeah, that's basically what Gygax did. He was squeezing Arneson out more and more because they weren't seeing eye to eye on everything. Yeah, you know.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, Holmes was the intro to 1E. Yeah. And yeah, racist class. I imagine that would slot right into a lot of people's politics these days. Yeah.
You could be the fighter, or the wizard, or the elf.
Yeah. Back then, the elf was kind of, in my opinion, it was the best class because it combined the best of the fighter and the wizard. But you had the dwarf, which was had more hit points than the fighter, and had comparable abilities to the fighter, but it took longer to level up. Then you had the halfling, which was pretty much a thief, but slightly better than a thief.
It's the Gary Gygax almost sued us. Or no, the Tolkien estate almost sued us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little mixed around.
Yeah.
I've got 3 levels in Caucasian. I'm thinking of branching out and dual classing or something.
Oh, I'm a Mexijufrican, so I'm a multi-class by nature. So
you had to cheese it.
Ironcaster is a mimic because he looks like a white guy, but he's an Indian. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, we're over our hour. Hope you've enjoyed. We brought you a lot of fun stuff. I mean, it wasn't all negative, I think, tonight. It's like, yeah, Daggerheart is incomplete, but there were some cool games we've set out, so you guys can take a look at.
And I mean, for the most part, we're mostly just kind of making fun of the Daggerheart website that's at this point still incomplete. The actual playtest is available to check out. Of course, there's the Shin Megami Tensei, which is a fully fleshed Japanese RPG that we're getting in English. So, there's at least one positive thing. And all this we were able to do without delving into the WotC stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, if you missed it, there is the really long thing for Lion Wing Publishing Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne.
Yep. Go to the Lion Wing Publishing website, and it'll be like the pin banner. You'll see it right away.
I was trying to save some money.
Hey, I've got to go file taxes this week, so yay!
I actually have a deceased relative who is leaving, who sent me a paycheck. Well, the estate sent me a paycheck this week, but it's not a very big one. But I could probably afford the $60. So I'll check it out.
Then, while you're at it, you might as well go pick up that new Fighting Factions book for G.I. Joe, which we're finally getting the Dreadnoks and Ninjas. No,
I don't even own the G.I. Joe role-playing game.
There's a bundle.
Or you could pay down your debt. Just saying.
That's kind of what I'm looking at there, Grim. Most of it's going towards the debts.
Good boy.
Yeah.
I'm full of nothing but good ideas.
Yeah, like all those G.I. Joe toys that are now sitting in a box because I don't have anything else I can do with them. Good idea.
At least they were cheap.
No, they weren't.
Okay.
Some were cheaper than others, but they weren't all cheap. But I'm glad that I stopped myself when I did, because when you start looking at, oh wow, that limited edition Serpentor with the air chariot for $150 to $200. I could miss a car payment. But then I saw the Hiss tank, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to pay $500 for that fucking thing. There's no way.
And that's the bigger issue. Hasbro doesn't know what to do with their audience.
Yeah.
Go back to the 3-inch scale. It'll be cheaper. Everyone will be a little happier.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably sell more.
Yeah. You could sell them for half the cost of what you're selling the big ones for, and everybody will love you. Plus, the old play sets will still be useful.
I think you'd be willing to pay, what, $50 for a Hiss tank? That seems reasonable.
No, because you can buy a His 3 now for like 12 at Ollie's.
Oh.
Anyway, thanks guys for hanging out with us tonight. We do appreciate y'all, and be sure to check us out on Saturday when we have the Weekend Geek proper. Till then, y'all take care and have a great Weekend Geek.